Friends of our channel and YouTubers, this series of videos is a summary of encounters with an alien, coming from a planet in the Andromeda galaxy. These meetings are a courtesy of moonexplorerblogspot.com, blog that keeps close relationship with our channel. Please, try to watch the videos in sequence, because the information sometimes is complementary. Answers of an Alien from Andromeda, 4th Encounter, September 22, 2010. Question: Mythy, few people are reading these are words. I'd like to do more, but I do not know how. My friend, if I can clarify your doubts at least, is something that I can remember having done on my own initiative. But the questions of your friends reveal that more people are involved, and that makes me very happy. My mission will not last long, but whenever I can come up here in my spare time. The Earth is an amazing place. Question: it has a lot on my own planet I do not know. If you rent me a spaceship, even an economic model. I know the limitations, and I'm sorry for having you felt that way, but over time you can use technology to learn more places than you think. I myself add up all the places I knew, they fit within a grain of sand in the universe. Question: I wish you saw an old building with 4,000 years old that exists near the home of my friend Mike. I showed a picture of Stonehenge. As it was built by our ancient tribes, why and for what purpose? Do you know anything about it? These rocks are heavy, and far from the site of origin. It's a tourist point of your planet. Many crop circles appear in crops of that region, because the ships are to visit this ancient site. A long time ago, the spacecrafts used a system of magnetic field that took the whole fuselage bottom. This made it to be slow takeoff, consume much power and causing problems, burning almost everything nearby. To minimize this grounding effect, they built a place to park the spacecraft. You can find others like that here on Earth and other planets. The human tribes, for not understanding what was happening, saw them as gods from the sky. To build that, the rocks were brought to the location by levitation, and placed upright after the local tribes digging places, according to what was requested and designed by the gods. The gods gave special tools so they nicked the fittings, and everything was assembled. This race of large humanoids with 12 feet tall, no longer exists here. They had problems with another ancient race and were driven out of your solar system. Now that place is a symbol of that race. This same system of construction was used several times by aliens with the ancient civilizations in Egypt, in the Orient and the Americas. Question: we have news of a planet that would be part of our solar system, with an elliptical orbit that will pass through the solar system between now and 2012, by our calendar, causing the inversion of the magnetic poles and other disasters. The name of this planet would be Nibiru or Planet X. This news is well founded or not? Is there really a planet, orbits with longer than 3,600 years, that belongs to the solar system? The Sumerians believed that aliens who were here observing and monitoring the phenomena, was of this planet, but the aliens they called Anunnaki, not come from there, because he is an uninhabited planet. Spends most of its orbit at extremely low temperatures, and in complete darkness. The change of the magnetic poles, will be an effect of the change of hemisphere of the galaxy. If you draw a line from the center to the edges of the galaxy, you see that she has an upper and a lower, as hemispheres on Earth. When you're in the northern hemisphere, when the water drains causing a swirl in a counterclockwise direction, and, in the southern hemisphere the swirl it is inverted. It's the same principle. When Earth crosses the line of the hemisphere of the galaxy, the magnetic fields of the poles will be reversed course. The alignment will take place in late 2012, and after that, the magnetic field will begin to switch. When the fields alternate at any given time, they are close to zero. This process greatly diminishes the protection of Earth against particles emitted by the Sun, what will be in tremendous activity in 2012, and this will cause major changes in climate and ocean currents. Large instabilities such as hurricanes and tornadoes will spread through Earth's atmosphere. The closest this planet gonna stand for the Earth is 0.24 times the distance between Earth and Sun. Its proximity will cause instabilities in the surface of the Sun with an increase in solar flares. This planet you call Nibiru, Marduk, Hercolobus or Eris, will not be the villain of the story, only an accomplice. Question: do you know a race of aliens called Zetas, which is in contact with humans, and can walk through walls transmuting its physical dimension? No, not with that name, and not with those characteristics. We do not alternate dimensions, we live in the same dimension as you humanoids on Earth. The only beings who know how to live in another dimension are the blue beings. They transcend our reality. They are a very evolved race. There must be many races as theirs in the universe, but how they interact with our dimension are the ones who really we know they exist. In the community Galactica, there is no race that can be simply walk through walls. Question: Mithy, a friend asked to you, what can you say about ghosts? Spirits that communicate with the living? Well, spirits are you when you go to the Earth's aura, blue beings community, and you are awaiting transfer back to this dimension again. The human capacity to communicate with spirits of their own race are the mediums that you call, right? There are two extremes. In the first case, these human spirits are in the aura of the planet, but they are still very attached to the incarnation recently closed, and its frequency is still in disarray and hang out on the lower zone of the aura, until rescued by the blue beings, or the second case, are already there in the community and are able to convey thoughts to someone with the same frequency, tuning here on Earth. This is actually very rare. There is more chance of a mechanical control of the mind of the correspondent medium on Earth, which could possibly write texts and messages dictated. Talk and use body language is almost impossible. Move objects between dimensions is something totally impossible. When you return from the dimension of the aura, you forget everything that happened there, and also what happened before you move there, because those memories are in another dimension, understand? Only bring back with you the characteristics of what you has achieved in development at your previous incarnation. This is printed on your gene. And your descendants will inherit your progress, and a more advanced generation to come. When you die, and return to the dimension of the planet's aura, you will remember it all again because you will be returning to that specific dimension, where all your memories are. Question: changing subject, there are many sightings of spaceships on airports and cities in general. Where are all these ships? In addition to yours, of course. Look, there are many ships that pass through here, as tourists, or collecting water, minerals, plants and animals. We have no control over this movement. No race require authorization to circulate in a region that is not regulated at Community Galactica. As I mentioned before, there are over 50 breeds circulating around here. The breed most worrisome of these is the reptilians, being in direct contact with your key leaders. The others do not come into direct contact, only by accident or by mistake sometimes. Question: since the reptilians are working with governments on Earth, does this mean that some of these spacecraft can be built right here, with technology transferred by them? No, they cannot pass these technologies, because they do not belong to them. Technologies are provided by Community Galactica, and if they do, will be penalized. The community is the only source handler and producer anti-carbon units, that is the fuel used by this technology. The reptilians do not produce nearly anything, everything is negotiated, in exchange for raw materials. So, it is impossible to produce these ships here on Earth. The only way they would cede its own fleet ships to be used by governments Earthlings associated with them. But it certainly would not risk that with Earthlings. But that does not prevent them from transferring older technologies, which are still far ahead of what you have now. With these old technologies, that did not use the current fuel, is possible the construction of less advanced spacecrafts, but they can be used for travel within your solar system with ease. The reptilians have scrapped many old spacecraft on their planets. There has been much movement on the lunar base of reptilians this last year. This is a subject which I'll comment with my crew. Question: as an engineer here on Earth have to ask this question. How this old technology is, which is based. The old propulsion technologies also use magnetism for navigation. The difference lies in the ability, capacity and maneuverability. They used the potential difference in the fuselage, top and bottom, of the magnetic fields to navigate. They had 4 field coils in the upper quadrants and 4 in the lower quadrants. These high-flow coils were energized by a generation system, type perpetual motion, which was fired all the time, like a gyroscope, with constant rotation. This in turn was powered by a chemistry battery of high capacity lasting up to 10 years of use in Earth time. They had different sizes depending on the size and weight of the spacecraft. The spacecraft now uses a system of directed magnetic beams, has no more magnetic field grounding problems to take off, and anti-carbon units last, as the ship lasts. Anti-carbon units are extremely powerful. The way they are produced can only be used as propulsion units. Its encapsulation and isolation are invulnerable and is an expertise held only by the Community Galactica. If one could be opened, could destroy an entire planet within minutes as a black hole. The power they can generate is almost unlimited, to supply a small or huge spaceship. Wait for our next video. Thanks for watching, join our channel. You are welcome there.